Roald Dahl's publishers are now retroactively editing his works, cutting the words fat from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory under the guise of inclusion and accessibility.
Yep.
That's just one example. They're going through all of his works and removing offensive language like fat and ugly
And
from the witches.
Horse face.
Apparently, the witches being ugly because they're bad people is offensive.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And they came out. So many people have complained about this. It's like, oh, okay, we're still going to release the original ones as the Roald Dahl classics, but we're still going to go through and edit it, and those are going to be the main books we put out.
Yeah. Whoever has the rights to his legacy or whatever it is, his
Penguin
estate, like whoever has the full rights to his estate needs to be like, okay, we're going somewhere else now. Like his actual estate needs to say, like, we need to get this back under control. So that's so dumb.
I think Netflix has something to do with it. They bought out some rights for him or something.
This is a little bit later, but we'll come back to it. This is what Dahl actually said. Dahl threatened to never write another word if his publishers ever changed his language.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. They're going so deep. They're changing cloud men in Charlie and Chocolate Factory to cloud people because that's not gender inclusive.
Oh yes. The Oompa Loompas are male and female now.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous the lengths they'll go to just cut out and edit this.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, this is censorship. This is what it is.
I said it wrong because Penguin now merged with Random House. It's Puffin Books that are publishers. This pisses me off. This is very, very upsetting. You don't retroactively change works for inclusivity. This is stupid. This is communism. This is exactly what communism does. They control speech, and when they control what you're allowed to say, they control how you think, how you're allowed to think.
What was it saying about Matilda there? Most formidable female was changed to most formidable woman.
Yes.
How? What? Why is that? What?
Because gender is different from sex, I guess.
But how is?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I get the gender is different than sex for the way that everybody's looking at it here, but like that doesn't the woman female doesn't like what? No, what?
Enormously fat to just enormous. You can't.
Oh, that's so much better. Yes.
Okay, look. I can speak on this issue. I am fat, and I do not find the word fat offensive. Okay? You guys want to see my rolls?
Yep.
Hey,
no! Fact. Okay? I'm unhealthy. It's not good for the body. It's bad, and I need to get into shape, or I'll probably die early.
Mm-hmm. I am also well above the weight that I should be, but I grew up as a skinny kid. Guess what? I was worried as a skinny kid that being skinny was a bad thing.
It is.
I got upset about it. But guess what? Yeah, there's a problem with it too. But guess what? It's not about the words used. It's the way that people use them. So we can't just make it better by saying we can't use these words anymore. Like if there's problems with people feeling treated poorly because of the way that they are or whatever, you need to like work at just being able to help people accept who they are and also like be healthy. I don't know. Just that's so dumb. It isn't one thing. You can't just say, oh, only fat is offensive. No, it's not. Fat is not offensive. It's offensive when you are mean to people, period, for whatever reason. And it happens for all reasons, no matter what. And we can't just get rid of those things. That's dumb.
Yeah.
And Jared, you and I had a long discussion about Philip Pullman and his books, the
Golden Compass?
Polar Bear Golden Compass.
Yeah, the Golden Compass.
And I had problems with the TV show, and it made me think that I wouldn't enjoy reading the books because I think the problems that I had with the TV show would also be prevalent in the books. And the media reached out to Philip Pullman in regard to Roald Dahl, and he definitely made up my mind that I will not be reading his books because I think that I would hate them, because he suggests that Roald Dahl books should just go out of print
Yeah, I know.
rather than changing them. He says, because they asked him, hey, what do you think about posthumously changing an author's works? And his response, it doesn't do anything very much. If it does offend us, then just let him go out of print. I'd say read all of these other authors. Read these wonderful authors who are writing today who don't get as much of a look in because of the massive commercial gravity of people like Roald Dahl. And
How
he
about
goes
this?
on.
You keep them in print, and if people don't want to buy them because they find them offensive, they don't read them.
Just allow them to fade away in people's reading habits because they no longer reflect the modern world. They're not going to vanish. They're still going to be around for years and years. They should be allowed to fade away. Let him go out of print. We're talking about children's books. Okay, dude, you wrote The Golden Compass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't technically YA, but it was marketed as YA. And it's on the fence, okay? Dahl's books aren't classics in that sense. I say let them fade away. Read better writers. Roald Dahl is one of my favorite authors of all time.
Yeah.
He has written classics, and his books are far more prolific and will be essential chunks of the cultural zeitgeist for far longer than people remember the name Philip Pullman.
Who?
I had to look. I had
no
to
idea who
look
he
up.
was. No.
Okay. I had to check my notes to say your name correctly. Okay. I'm sure that your books were fine and a lot of people liked them. I didn't like the TV show very much, despite of how well it was acted, because I thought the story was garbage. Roald Dahl has written timeless classics that will be remembered far after your books have disintegrated. The Witches, The Twits, Charlie and the Frickin' Chocolate Factory, and then Charlie has a glass elevator, okay? The
Giant
BF,
peach.
the BF fricking G.
Yeah.
James and the BF fricking Peach. Go screw yourself, Philip Pullman.
Yeah.
You've never written a classic in your life.
Right. What Philip Pullman has is he has the dark materials, but like I haven't heard of anything else.
Mhm.
And even
The rest of his works are sequels and derivations of his dark materials.
And
They're
I
spin-offs.
almost like so David made a good point, which is almost what I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt for this person and say like, oh, this is them taking it the wrong way when he's trying to say like, oh, print them until they don't sell anymore, because if people don't like them, then they won't buy them. But guess what? They will buy them, and so just leave it alone. But no, he doubled down on it in 10 different ways to say that
I was on the
Roald Dahl wasn't
fence.
a good author or whatever. But
I was on the fence about reading The Golden Compass because
No.
I didn't love the TV show. I hated how it ended, and I was thinking maybe the books were better and it was just a bad adaptation. But I'm fairly certain that the things I didn't like about the TV show are also problems with the books now. And it's my problems with the author and his philosophy in general. I think that the books are very pessimistic, which is fine. There are lots of books from atheists that I do enjoy. Okay, I enjoy, and I poke fun, but I enjoy the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Okay, one of my favorite books of all time is Johnny Got His Gun, who's written by a communist. Guess what? I hate communism, but I love Johnny Got His Gun. It's a fantastic book. So my issue is not that he's an atheist. My issue with his philosophy in general is that it's not just that he doesn't believe; he actively hates Christianity, and his books attempt to replace God, but they don't. They remove God from the equation, but they don't replace him with anything more significant. And so his books are, at least I assume it's the same problem with the books. I haven't read them and I'm not going to. But the problem with the TV show is the ending felt incredibly hollow because it was trying to be profound by saying we don't need God, but he didn't present an alternative that was interesting at all. And so the books just felt very hollow, the series felt extremely hollow and extremely pointless, and it was a huge letdown. I really, really hated his Dark Materials. And it was acted so well, like I wanted to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And first season is really good. Seasons 2 and 3 are garbage.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, my wife and I binged the first season in a couple weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I think we've watched 2 episodes of the second season.
Yeah, the first
It
season
just-
is fantastic. It's amazing world building, and everything that's good about the first season is absent in seasons 2 and 3. They just abandon everything that was good that I liked.
Like I don't think I've ever read a Roald Dahl book that I didn't like. But just with like the 3 most popular ones, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Matilda, like those are freaking classics.
Oh, I forgot
bro.
Matilda.
Yeah, they're so good.
BFG is one of the greatest books of all time.
BFG's
The Witches is my favorite. The Witches is absolutely
Witches is good. I love
freaking
Witches.
phenomenal. And the Twits is probably my personal favorite. It's not like a book though; it's more of like a short story. But I love the Twits. Charlie and your mom's factory. Well, they're doing the same thing to James Bond books. They're removing offensive things, and it was connected to this story, which has had that. But apparently, it's offensive to say Bond could hear the audience panting and grunting like pigs at the trough. It's more apparently it's better to say Bond could hear the electric tension in the room.
It's electric.
Yeah, because
Apparently,
the
pigs is racist. I
without knowing
thought that all
context-
cops were pigs, though. I thought you guys liked that word.
The first one is so much more descriptive.
That's the thing. Is like,
Just
it has a much more like visceral, like you
Yeah.
really get that idea, and it really has it has some grit to it, and it but gosh, that's
Yeah. Wow.
You know, one of the best books of all time is Huckleberry Finn.
Oh yes.
And it uses the
And-
N word
and Tom Sawyer. Yeah.
100 times. And Tom Sawyer is good, but it's not. I love Tom Sawyer. It's a great story. It's not important.
True.
Huckleberry Finn is
It's
probably
just
one
a
of the
fun
most.
time.
Huckleberry Finn is probably one of the most important books ever written.
Agreed.
And it uses the N word about like 100 times because that's the point of the book is overcoming racism. And it's
Exactly.
incredible in a time where racism was prolific. And so the author doesn't mince his meat. He doesn't mince his words. He has characters using the N-word left and right. And people want to get rid of that book because it uses the N-word. But that's the point. That's the point of the book, is that there's a little child who runs away with a black man, and everyone's calling him the N-word. Everyone hates this black man. And it's the childlike innocence of this character who doesn't understand why this man is hated and the other man isn't. It's showing racism, the horrors of racism through the eyes of a child, and how children can't comprehend why racism exists because racism is stupid.
Which is why it's so ridiculous.
It is a wonderful, poetic book.
Yeah. Amen, bro. That's absolutely. It's the hatred for that book is just baffling.
It's ridiculous.
But it's also ridiculous too that they're trying to teach kids that just because you're born white, you are just racist from the womb. It's like no. Huck Finn showed that.
Right.
Kids don't understand racism. They don't care. They don't see skin color. It's just another person, right?
I apologize if I missed some comments. I've been absorbed.
Yeah.
But we don't love you any less. Let's move on.